Hello, beautiful artists. So are you ready for another flower today? Today we're going to be drawing, or I'm going to be drawing this anemone. We have done the forget-me-nots. So cute, so fun. I hope you guys followed along with that one because it was really fun. Today we're going to do this anemone. I always get that, say that 10 times fast, right? Okay, what I'm using is, I just bought these on Amazon, I don't know, several years ago. I've actually seen them at the 99-cent store too, but that's what I'm gonna use to draw my circles. You could freehand them. You could use a little lid to something, which would be perfectly fine. And I'm going to do 3 because that's kind of the numbers I work in. Actually, you know what I think I'll do for time's sake is let's just do one anemone here. So I'm going to draw this circle, and I'm going to press a little bit darker so that you can see my lines, but I would advise, you know, using lighter pencil lines so that you can erase them easily. And then what I'll do next is just draw in, so an anemone has, I'm going to do a 5 petal, but they can't have more. They can have 6. They can have even, I read, more than that. And what I'm going to do is I picture them kind of like a person. So you've got the main line coming down here about to the center, and then you've got like the arms coming up, and then we've got the 2 legs coming out here like that. And I'm actually going to erase a little circle in the middle, because in the middle of an anemone, it's going to be that black color. So I'm just going to do that, use a brush to brush away. Okay, so we've got our little circle here. The next thing I'm going to do is, in looking at an anemone, what I found is the petal, let's actually draw that circle in the middle here. There we go, because they've got that black, almost like a poppy-like, coming out of the center. And then I'm going to bring my petal, which is smaller in the center, and it's going to come out, kind of curl around like that and back in. I'm going to do that one more time over here, which I'll kind of make this one peeking out like that. I think these flowers are so pretty, by the way, and they're fairly easy to grow, so I like that. Now this petal is going to be pretty large, so maybe I should add in one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll make this a 6 petal, because that one got a little, that would be a pretty big petal. No worries. So making sure my petal is going back to the center, like that. Something like that. So look at how great these guidelines work. I'm telling you, when I discovered these guidelines years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, where have you been, guidelines, all my life? Because so many times petals can go really wonky. Now, the other thing you could do is you can always add in some more petals in the background here, but I'm going to leave this like this. And then let's just do a little stem. I always like my stems to kind of come out like they're kind of dancing, but you make sure the stem is pointing towards the center of your flower. So let's just have a stem coming out like that. And then we'll have our leaves, something like that. Okay, so a simple little anemone. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is let's just paint the inside. And actually, what I'm going to do first is, let me find my floral palette by Paul Rubin. Let's see, where did I put that little beauty? Here it is. Oh, it's not in there. My goodness. Here it is. Okay, so this is the Paul Rubin's floral palette. I use that quite a bit. So here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and spray that so it's ready to go when we start painting here. Nope. I need to fill my little water thing up. And this just activates the paint so they're nice and soft and ready to go. Okay, so we've got our paints. I'm using my Artisto paper. You know, I love my Artisto paper, you guys. Total beautiful texture. You get 3 packs for $20-some. Love it. And the pencil, by the way, I was using was the this little set of the Pearl Wing. And I like them because they have that eraser that I can just replace. I tend to go through erasers. All right, the brush I'm going to use, let's see, what should we use today? I think I'll go ahead, big surprise, right? My 8 brush. Love these brushes. Look at that snap. Just means when you're using it in a painting, it snaps right back into shape. So I'm going to use that. I might use the angle brush because that beautiful chisel tip just to get some of those leaves. So that's what I'm using. All right, let's get started. Always starting with that lighter color first. If you watched the first in this series, it was the Forget-Me-Nots, and we started with that baby blue. The other thing you guys seem to enjoy is when I create kind of a swatch of the colors. So let's do that real quick. Let me grab that's an upcoming tutorial of my cyclamens that are growing out in my yard right now. Let me swatch. My colors here with my handy dandy. You guys seem to be loving this too. And you guys are actually the ones that turned me onto this little swatch stamp, which I love. And it just saves me a lot of time when I'm trying to choose my colors because I can kind of see them beforehand. So I think the colors I'm going to use, these anemones come in all different colors. My girlfriend even sent me a picture of one in white, and it was gorgeous. I actually painted it. So I think what I'm going to do are these pinky colors. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Of course, big surprise, right? My brushes even look like a big, beautiful flower. So that is in the floral palette. It's like a Quin Magenta. And then let's use, let's see, let's go ahead and play with that purple. Ooh, that is a really deep, dark purple. So I'm going to add some water to that. There we go. It's turning my water dish a beautiful purple color. There we go. And let's go for some greens. As always, I go for the beautiful olivey green. I think probably too, because I use such bright colors, that olive green is just so nice and warm. And then for that dark, dark center, gosh, we could use either a black or a Prussian blue. And if you don't have this floral palette, by the way, you know, feel free to use your Mylang palette, which is just as beautiful. Love it. They're both Paul Rubens, and you have a lot of these same colors. So in the floral palette here, let's see if we can make a deep, dark color. I think what I'll do, so here's a purple, but I'm going to add its opposite, which would be, let's just take a look, purple and yellow or orange. Let's do that. Let's add in a little bit of yellow there, and we get this kind of deep, dark, musky black. So the reason I like this black is it has some of that purple in it, which I love. I don't think I ever just use a flat like lamp black, ivory black. I always tend to kind of mix my blacks because I like mixing like purple and green or those type of colors and bringing them into my leaves. So I think that's about it. I feel like I almost want a deep dark blue. So there's a dark blue there. We'll see. Isn't that gorgeous? It's kind of like that turkey blue we love. All right, so there's my colors. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I'm normally would erase these lines, but I'm not going to, so that way you can maybe see them. If you do want to erase them, you have a couple different choices. You can always roll over the entire, sorry for the camera shake there, drawing with, these are like little miracle erasers, with that kneaded eraser, like that. And look at there, it just really lightens all those pencil lines. I love it. So you can't even hardly see them. The other thing you can do is, where's my little handy dandy, this Mitsubishi eraser, you can go in and erase the lines out, whichever you want to do. All right, let's go ahead and start painting here. I am going to start with, let's start with a kind of pale type purple. You got to be careful because this violet is really, really, look at that. I mean, it's crazy vibrant, you guys. So I'm going to use this color and I'm going to use that red violet. So just going in, very similar to the little forget-me-nots. Just painting in. Using a light value. Now I might pick up a tiny bit of that violet because I just love it and tap in some of that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Those two colors, ooh, they're just so pretty. I love them. A little bit more of the violet. Ooh, now I got kind of a mix of the two. There we go. And I am leaving some white space in there, which, you know, you can always do it that way too, a little bit of lifting. And a little bit more violet. And then before this really dries, I'm going to go in and tap into the center. Some of that real deep dark color. There we go. I'm going to move this down a tad bit so I can get to my paper towel. Pick up some of that violet. There we go. Now this is kind of drawing and I really wanted to go in there and add in some of that deep dark color. Here's our deep dark Prussian blue. Let's just add that. Ooh, look at that. Gorgeous, right? Oh my gosh, so pretty. Again, always why I love watercolors. So pretty. That deep dark Prussian blue, which I'm going to add in a little bit of the black we created. Look. Ooh, to me that is reminiscent of what an anemone looks like for me. I always try to find kind of what's recognizable about flowers and just make sure I kind of bring that out in my painting so I don't exactly have to make them, you know, perfect, but as long as they have whatever that kind of recognizable trait is, I feel like, okay, that's good. Now this was kind of dry, so I'm just going to go in there and pull that out. This one too, because these were the first ones I did, so it kind of dried. Look how pretty. Isn't that so lovely? Let's go ahead and do our stem here. So I'm going to take that, going back to my swatch here, that olive green. I want to add just a tiny touch of some sap green, or I think in the floral palette, it's actually called Hooker's green. Maybe just add in a little of the bright, ooh, that was quite bright. And purple and green are opposites on the color wheel. So they're really beautiful together as a complementary color. So let's just go in. I'm going to use the tip of my brush, light pressure, and create that stem. And then I think what I'll do here is I was thinking I would want to let's actually play with that angle brush. Let's see here. So I've got that angle brush. I'm going to put some paint on it there, tap, tap, tap to get rid of any excess. And then let's just start at this end. And then I'm going to, because the anemones I have had here, they had kind of this ruffly type leaf. Let's do another one here, like this. Again. Something like that. I mean, you know, make them yours. That's what I always do with my flowers and such is, you know, I really just try to make them interesting and what I enjoy painting. So this is still drying. I'm going to go in and just add in a little bit of maybe a little bit of that olive green. You could even go in and something like that. Isn't that pretty? Just creating that feel of that jaggedy edge. Just using the tip of my brush. There we go. And giving that feeling of kind of that rugged edge. The last thing I want to do is go in with that black. So let's get some of our purple, maybe add in a little green, and really get that deep dark black. And I'm gonna go in and create those little dots that to me just are so identifiable with an anemone. And then what I'll even do, and you can take a pen if you want. So here's a pen, or you can use this. You could use this and just go in and kind of create those little things that stick out. That to me, again, are so like, yep, that's an anemone. Like that. Okay, that was a little wet. Matter of fact, if you wanted to pick some of that up because you don't like that, just go in with a dry, thirsty brush and pick it up. I don't mind those, but the other thing you can use is just a little pen. And then these little dots. And it's things like this that really just so easy, but they add that tiny, easy touch of some detail. So this really is kind of wet still, so it's spreading a bit, but you get that general idea. And basically you're done here. You could go in, maybe add, oops, let me just rinse my angle brush here. Make sure I get all that paint out. There we go. You can always, when you rub it on a towel, you want to make sure that you're getting all that paint out so it doesn't get stuck down in the ferrule. We could always go in here. This is just total extra right now. This is beautiful just as it is. Maybe we could add a few Splatters are always fun, but we could also just add in with the very tip of this brush. You don't have to do this. This is an extra step, but maybe, oop, that isn't dark enough. I'm gonna mix some of that red, violet, and violet. Where'd my violet go? Here it is. And just use the tip of that brush. Now I'm sticking my hand in those splatters. I really should have done those afterwards. And just add some in like that. Just a really light touch. There we go. And I think that's perfect. So I hope you give this a try. I will put all of my supplies I use. Hopefully there's some brushes left by the time you might see this, but there we go. There is our anemone, and I hope that helped you with the guidelines. Huge help for me. Thank you so much for being a part of this little community. And this little angle brush is perfect for creating these spiky little leaves. All right, everybody, have fun, happy drawing, and I'll see you soon.